And we move on to the story now of African trade ministers meeting in the Democratic Republic of Congo, having agreed to fast-track policies that will promote trade within the continent in order to reduce their reliance on foreign markets. Now, the move comes just a few weeks after the United States imposed a 10% tariff on imports from African countries. SABC News correspondent Chris Ochamringa has more from Kinshasa. All right, we do apologize. We do not have that particular story, but we'll bring you a little later on. But SABC News reporter Lerato Fekisi joins us now live with the latest update on the cabinet meeting in the Eastern Cape. President Cyril Ramaphosa met with the Eastern Cape Provincial government to chart a way forward in terms of how intergovernmental cooperation can be fostered. A very good afternoon to you, Lerato. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very, very important site visit by the President and the cabinet in the Eastern Cape. What came out of it, and what are some of the issues that were threshed out?
Well, a very good afternoon. The President has wrapped up his two-day visit to Gqeberha, where on the first day was focusing on the economic hubs, the Kucha SEZ, and then also the ports. But today, like you said, was the important cabinet meeting where he first started off by speaking about Eastern Cape, which was the host of the cabinet meeting, speaking about the various challenges the Eastern Cape is facing in terms of governance, saying that at a time where the Eastern Cape is facing a huge level of youth unemployment as well, he said that most of the issues facing the Eastern Cape have to do with poor governance and corruption, saying that if any change in terms of job creation, in terms of unlocking the potential of the various economies, that it can only happen when corruption and good governance becomes the order, where corruption is not the order of the day and good governance is the order of the day. And then he went on to speak about the appointment of Mr. Jonas as South Africa's envoy to USA, saying that he's fully behind it. You understand that there was a retweet of a conversation or a tweet that Mr. Jonas made several years ago, a homophobic and racist remark towards US President Donald Trump. And the President said that at the time Mr. Jonas made these comments, he was making it as a citizen of South Africa. And the President said that he's fully committed to the appointment of Mr. Jonas as South African envoy to USA, saying that he's very much confident that Mr. Jonas will be able to improve political and trade relations between the USA and South Africa. Mr. Ramaphosa then also spoke about the Eastern Cape, saying that Eastern Cape is also a huge automotive hub, saying that the issue of the tariff is a thorny issue, but confident that they're able to mitigate the various conversations. But the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Mr. Osman Bian, is here. He got to be part of the cabinet meeting. And tell us briefly exactly what came out from the meeting. Premier, from the meeting that happened inside, just briefly take us through some of the issues that were topical in the cabinet meeting.
The issues have been about how to take this province forward as part of the work that national government is doing to support in the context of cooperative governance, to ensure that the provincial government is focused and is working to serve our people in this province, local government. Yes, local government remains our Achilles heel, but we are attending to local government. A lot of improvement is also observed. So we're quite happy with the meeting. I know the President will be issuing a statement at an appropriate time. And of course, we've made some requests on President. Challenges of crime, gender-based violence that we are experiencing almost every day are really giving us some sleepless nights, but also to ensure that the municipalities function properly, the professionalizations of our administration, so that political issues are not contaminating what's happening in the municipalities. Municipalities must serve our people. We're not happy. Some indicators are showing that a lot needs to be done to improve the service delivery, but the service delivery should be done in the context of development, because if the development is not there, it's going to be difficult even to talk about service delivery. So we are focusing more on development, just to lift this province from where it is to a level where it's supposed to be, using these natural endowments, whether it's an ocean, but improving the road network. So from where I'm sitting, the President is okay. He's very pleased with progress that we're making, knowing that we're coming from a very low base as a province. But good work is happening every day, and people can witness. Yes, only less than 10% of our roads that are surfaced. So that's a challenge. But we're turning this province into a construction site, working collaboratively with Sandral, putting more focus and investment. So we're quite happy. A lot must be done now in the oceans economy. Bring all what is happening in that part, maritime issues, your bunkering, etc., to create more jobs, fishing, process those fishes here. About 7 species of fishes in South Africa are found in our seas here. So it's going to be important that we are able to organize, integrate, dealing with issues of the high levels of poverty, the challenges that have been reported on malnutrition. We've outlined detailed plans in our state of the province address and our policy species on how are we going to be dealing with that. Every garden must actually be cultivated. We must produce food and make sure that we're able. But also looking at the value chain, the bulk of money that we're spending for school nutrition, for food that is being served in hospitals for patients. Even if you talk about your correctional centers as well, those things should be produced here to improve the economic growth. So beneficiation and localization are becoming quite important. But we are looking forward to good work that we're doing, interventions in Buffalo City and Nelson Mandela to make sure that these metros, they are real up in the game.
Premier, you also spoke about municipalities and the critical role they have to play in service delivery, but very critical, saying that the issues of service delivery have to do with poor governance and also corruption and misuse of funds. Is there something also that you want to try harp on? I think you've been very harsh and very critical of the local government, saying that more must be done to improve service delivery, and the president also hampered on that as well, saying that in order to get good governance, there needs to be an end of corruption and be good use of funds as well.
We're hard at work in pursuit of finding the correct panacea to challenges that is facing our local municipalities. Yes, sometimes political challenges, the instabilities are really causing a lot of panic and policy uncertainty. But I can tell you, municipalities have gone through a lot of intervention, including this one, 154, 139C, almost all municipalities. Sometimes it's really difficult to understand exactly what is going on, but the issue for me remains with consequence management. You can't employ a CFO that gives you adverse report for 5 years and you continue extending a contract. You can't employ an accounting officer that cannot deliver on targets. So that issue, we need to strengthen those contracts to make sure that people know very well that they are here to work. If you cannot work, don't play politics. Managers must not be politicians. We have put up a law on that to clear that so that people are professionalized and our administration is professionalized. So we are looking at those as part of the weakness. Yes, we are very concerned and we believe that the entire ecosystem must function optimally for us to be able to be this effective government, for us to be this capable, developmental, ethical and agile state. So we are really looking at those permutations to make sure that our people are getting proper services. We're here for our people, we're here to serve, and that should be our preoccupation.
Premier, speaking of your people, there's a huge concern of the crime stats. Nelson Mandela Bay is #1 murder capital in the country, something that's never happened before. I know that you have made a call out also during the cabinet meeting for the SNDF to be employed to the crime-stricken areas such as OR Tambo, Buffalo City and also NMB.
South African Police Services has made necessary intervention, additional of men and women in boots on the ground. So that intervention is making a difference. I can tell you, police are doing a great job here. The intervention of NIU, the intervention of TRT is almost closing the space and the feeling that probably if you would have soldiers it would be better. So it's a question of improving now crime intelligence to be able to detect things before they happen. My concern that I've been raising with police always is to sleep knowing that there are people who are going to wake up and close the road through VNs, notices, but we sleep as if there's nothing that is going to happen up until people do that. People hijacking trucks, cut down and shut down the economy by closing the roads, national roads with trucks. Those people must be arrested. Those are thugs. We cannot no longer accept the economic sabotage anymore. We should be able to be very much meticulous and quite smart in dealing with issues like those. But we must get closer to our people, listen to them, listen to their issues, resolve their issues before they escalate to that level.
Thank you so much, Premier. Well, as the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Mr. Oscar Mabuyane, just summarizing the President's two-day visit to Gqeberha, speaking about the issue of crime. You understand that NMB has been ranked the #1 murder capital, which has never happened in the history of the NMB, saying that more work needs to be done to be proactive in terms of addressing with crime, but also speaking about issues of service delivery. The President saying that in order to bring good service delivery, good governance, anti-corruption must be the order of the day, and saying that they're going to work hard as the local government, as they have been, to try and make sure that there's good governance. Also in terms of unlocking the various potentials in terms of automotive sector, the marine sector, making sure that enough collaborative work is done to ensure that those two economies' potentials are definitely unlocked. That's right from us, and it's all back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Lerato, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your update. Lerato Fekisi, our reporter there in the Eastern Cape. She was just in conversation with Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane. This is after President Cyril Ramaphosa's oversight visit to meet with the Eastern Cape Provincial government. Let's